it's Monday night and welcome to the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by Small Affordable Cars. I'm Paul Hickis and tonight we're joined by Claire Giblin.
Good evening.
Mark Meredith.
Good evening all.
Craig Courtney.
Good evening all.
Mark Adams.
Hello everybody, good evening.
Who are you?
Last but not least, Chris Browne.
Good evening, and we're still waiting for Alan Watson.
And Alan Watson is having a few issues connecting, so hopefully Alan will be joining us in due course. But yeah, Craig, what a week. I mean, we've started Tuesday night at the open house with some of the stuff really that was being presented to us was putting a lump in my throat. I don't know about you, but incredible future ahead for the club. And it's just so, I mean, I know that Tom said that, you know, whether we go down or not, nothing changes, but none of us want to go down, you know, and, you know, we obviously backed up that open house with one of the worst performances of the season on Wednesday. And Claire, I'll come to you about that in a minute. And then Saturday has got to be the best performance of the season by a country mile. It's amazing what a few changes to the team makes. And it's also amazing what a difference it makes when you've got a bit of support up there with Jay Stansfield. But let's start with the open house. Craig, give us your thoughts on that.
I mean, wow, we were all buzzing. Were we after Tuesday evening and the announcements, and for those people that got to see it as well on the live link, if not, I will be putting a little bit of an article up shortly with a few breakdowns of things that we heard on the evening and things to look forward to for not just next season, but you know the next 5, 6 plus years. If it all comes to fruition, which I firmly believe from the passion that was coming out from both Gary Cook and Tom Wagner, that you know our future is, well, exciting isn't a strong enough word to use. It's unbelievable, and you know it's fair to say we might be in a real dire position at these present moments, but that was a pick me up that we needed, and it certainly upset our neighbours over in B6 because I have never seen so many reposts of, oh my God, we've now got to buy Aston Park and put Aston Hall in the middle of our stadium than I did after our announcement. And yeah, you know, let's hope that comes to fruition. But a few highlights to shout out at the moment are revenue-wise, we're already on target to double what we did last season. Then they have set targets of the club for the following season and the season after that if achieved, and I say if because I firmly believe they will be, but if achieved, they will put us in the realms of teams that are Premier League status as far as revenue is concerned. Then there's also the work that's going to go on in the stadium during the closed season. So we are going to see a complete revamp of the box areas in the Gilmerick. That's going to become an open atrium, a view of the stadium, and then windows to the back of it looking over the city. We're going to see revamps of the Jasper Carrot Suite and the Legends Lounge. There's also going to be a new bar, which I think will be called the End-to-End Bar, or that's how it's listed at the moment.
Box to box.
Box, thank you. And that is literally going to be underneath the Kop. So the areas that where the silt was, they're going to excavate all of that out and change it into a bar underneath.
Wow.
So all areas of revenue to build up and take us forwards. And
sorry, Craig. But if that isn't a statement of what they've done since they've been there, like 12 months ago, the Kop wasn't safe to stand on, and now it's to stand on, and now it's all right now to stand underneath it.
And I guess the other things, the fan park. I mean, firstly, at the back of the George will be turned into a fan park that they are hoping to have open even during the latter part of the Euros. So there'll be large screens in there. There'll be entertainment before games. That's where the player or ex-player interviews will take place. There will be a media suite there. So Blues TV will have a section where people can be interviewed pre and post the game. They're going to have a revamp of the front of the Kop and the club shop. So the club shop will actually be turned around. So the entrance will be facing the Kop, and we'll have a new bannered area that will come off the Kop over to that club shop with tiering outside as well. So where it's all grassed at the moment, and the fence area, that's actually going to be like an amphitheatre setup. Revamp of the bar, which is the Happy Abode at the moment, that's going to be revamped. There's so much they're putting into it.
Yeah,
And
I said to Nick, sorry, Craig, I said to Nick Smith as well that the one thing you're missing in that new sort of, amphitheatre area outside in the Cop and the Club shop is a roof. You need a roof there.
Yeah.
definitely
freezing cold, are they?
And I mean, the other things are just the overall infrastructure changes that have taken place, where they're seeing the vast majority of revenue coming in from hospitality or that area. So there will be tiers of hospitality moving forwards as well. And hospitality is not just about going and having a meal, but it's about the whole experience. So the other thing is some of the boxes will have sliding doors on the front instead of windows, so that people can open that up and form part of the atmosphere, which today is almost enclosed. So if it's cold, close the doors, keep the heat. If you don't want to be outside, you can go outside and sit in your seats. And then of course, there was the total wow of the expectation of the stadium moving forwards and the whole sports setup that's going to be there. So obviously artists' impressions were shown to us all, but it was just an instant reaction of, just completely took your breath, because you saw what it's like now, and then to see this artist impression of what it's to be like was just unreal. And we're talking about Birmingham City here. This is, we all said it in the room. We've never, ever experienced this. We've never been in this position where we have owners that they don't just want to take things forwards. They want to be the best. We're going to see a sports complex that's going to be world-renowned. We're going to see a setup that puts us in the position in terms of acreage that, if I remember rightly, was only beaten by one team across the whole of Europe, and that's Man City. So we're going to be in such a wonderful position. And work starts pretty much straight away. He said it's going to happen straight away. He wants, he set an aspirational target of 5 years. I think it's like, oh, look, that's not fair, Chris.
What, this big, gigantic piece of cake with fresh cream on top?
Just rubbing that little bit in. I haven't even eaten it tea yet.
I bet he's nicked that from Saturday.
I think St Andrews will be turned into housing, won't it? Yeah. That's the vibes that I'm getting. But I think two important things as well. Claire, I'll come on to you now. But the Trevor Francis Memorial Foundation, headed by Jasper Carrott and Gary Cook, and also a change in catering as well, suppliers, which is another.
Thank goodness for that. Yeah. I mean,
really worse,
we just need something like, when you go in, like typical American hospitality, that's what you want. A smiling face, go and get your drink or your pint or your food and a nice pie, and actually have enough pies, and, have it that you've got like loads of different things. And I just think, the Trevor Francis thing is a really good touch. It seems to be teary at the moment with everything, bring a tear to my eye when they said about the soil and the bricks. And that they wanted to take everything with them. And I thought, actually, you've thought about everything here. I mean, he was such a lovely man to meet. I mean, me and Craig literally beelined for him straight after.
Get away, could he?
No, literally he kept talking to me, and I was like, oh, okay. He even asked for my Twitter handle, so I'll take that. But yeah, I just think it was just amazing to actually be there and listen. The difference between both the open houses has been amazing, and I think I think the first open house was very kind of like, this is what we're doing, and we were all excited, but we were more like, okay, are you actually going to show this? Are you actually going to do it? And then when they've said, oh, we've only spent 20 million, we've already done 55 projects or something. Wow. And you just saw the difference. And then they're like, yeah, well, this is what we're going to do next. And now it's more an expectation than are they going to do it? I can't wait to see what they do. And I generally think it's for the better. I think the club shop, what a great idea to turn it instead of having it out on the road. doing a bar underneath the cop. You know, like you said, Paul, literally, you know, a year ago, could you imagine like being underneath? And you know, the hospitality, we've been crying out to have it where you can be part of it. It's one of the reasons that lots of people don't go into boxes, because you have to like turn on the sound. Yeah. And you're like, why? You like, just be part of it. Loads of other stadiums do it. I mean, Luton do it, and look at their stadium. But honestly, when they put that picture on, I was just like, wow. And to be fair, I'm just happy they've got mini golf.
Yeah. It's going to be
mini golf.
Happy with that. Mini golf all day.
Yeah. I think the live Q&A as well was interesting. You know, kudos to the guy who asked him if he was going to the pub the night after and which one he was going to as well. I thought that was a great question. But yeah, Mark Meredith, let's come on to you now, mate, on Wednesday night's game. But obviously the open house as a spectacle, I think the second one was just amazing. The first one was amazing as well. But if I had to choose one out of the two, and obviously I had the pleasure of being at both, the same as Craig and Claire, I would probably say the second one just edges it. But I thought the first one was really good as well. But we were given a bit more of the VIP treatment, weren't we, in the first one? We was shown around and different breakout sessions and stuff. But yeah, some of the stuff that's going to be coming ahead of us, whether we go down or not, is just incredible. But if we stay up, the calibre of player I think we're going to attract now after this announcement, you know, and I know it's not for another 5 years, but, you know, if you've got players that are like 19, 20, you're certainly going to consider coming to Birmingham City now a lot more than what you would of like a year ago, aren't you?
Hey, mate, Wagner made it, I'm sorry, Mark, before I come over to yourself, Wagner made it very, very clear that this summer, no matter what, is going to be exciting. Yeah. And he didn't say that just once, and he didn't say it tongue-in-cheek. He meant it. And so I think, you know, we're probably still to hear some big announcements, should also add the kit, by the way. A lot of people asked about the kit and what was going on. Right, so the club have agreed another 2 years at present with Nike. The difference, though, between past seasons and this one is that we're not going to get an off-the-shelf kit. They are going to be working with the club for purpose-made kits for us. So that's the big difference this time around. And obviously the club shop, once it's revamped, will be owned by us again. Woohoo!
Yeah. Do we think the price of the kits might go up on that basis, judging by what I've just paid for an England shirt that's Nike?
Yeah, I think that would be the scary thought, is that
like it,
they would though. However, they'd be daft if they overpriced them. You know, perhaps if they gave the option to people to buy an expensive version and a, should we say, fan version, that would be the way to go. But yeah, I desperately hope we don't see the likes of, what is it, a basic shirt for England, 85, 90 quid, and then the most expensive 120 odd.
I don't think from the vibe I got, but the fact that they want to increase a lot of the revenue with hospitality, I don't get that vibe from them. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I mean, £55 for a shirt is a steal. Not going to lie. Like, if you look at every other team, probably across the championship, I'd love to know how much the most expensive is and how much we pay, because I don't think we pay that much for a shirt, considering you wear it 46 times or more. It's £1 a time, isn't it, really? I think they'll do loads of things, though. I mean, you got the main bloke from JD who has made them what they are, so I'm excited to see what the shop's like. Hopefully it's quite interactive and it's quite out there kind of thing as well.
Yeah. I want to say as well, we've got some incredible staff in the club now as well. I mean, Nick Smith, the guy who was presenting, the infrastructure guy, you know, the head of infrastructure, his presentation was just I know you've already touched on what we're doing, Craig, but he presented it superbly well, didn't he?
It was unreal. And I mean, the other thing is the fact we keep referencing Man City, but these guys work together there. They built the backgrounds to what is Man City, and Gary Cook made reference to it a couple of times. But what I also made reference to was they haven't finished. So, you know, what he left them with really was the first building blocks of where they are and what they're going on to do. And you can just you get that sense and that vibe that that's what's going to come with Wagner and co as well. You know, he said at the beginning, let's start off as we mean to go on. And his first words, we are going nowhere. We're about to invest 2 to 3 billion on a stadium. That's how he opened up his speech. And he couldn't have done it any better. And you'll see a reference quite a few times that'll come out. And please don't put on the message board what you think it means. However, he did come up with 3 letters, and the 3 letters are F-E-A. And that's what he was saying. We as fans should say to the doubters and the haters. F-E-A. Yeah. So, yeah, please don't put the full words on the message board, but you can kind of guess what it means.
No, I don't know. Can you tell me what it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
Going back to the you talked about the store briefly. Did they mention about maybe opening a store up in town or different parts of Browne or anything?
No.
Did they go that far into it?
What they did say was, outside of the clubs that get parachute payments, which, as you know how much I hate, we are making the most revenue out of all the other clubs that don't get parachute payments, which I thought was,
really,
in such a short space of time, I think that is an incredible achievement. I really do. You know, and you've got to remember where we've come from. Obviously, it's only a year ago that we were in the doldrums, really, weren't we? So, you know, they've only been here since the 13th of July. So, you know, it's unbelievable. But, so that's the open house, obviously, which was such an exciting and, you know, a pleasure thing to be at. Absolutely amazing. And Mark Meredith, let's get on to the football now, mate. Wednesday night. Did you watch the Cardiff game?
Did. Disaster is one word I'm going to say. You know, I'd only seen bits of the open house, obviously, on Blues TV Tuesday night. I caught some of it and, you know, mind-blowing. Some of the things they spoke about was mind-blowing. But tuning in on Wednesday with that excitement and then watching what we watched was really a big, you know, brick to the head, so to speak. They didn't have anything, did they? I think they could have played for 3 or 4 days and not scored a goal. Didn't really create. Didn't look like scoring. Struggled. Looks like they got a lot of nerves creeping up on them. Fans got nervous and were on the back, and that never helps. And then Cardiff went and stole the goal, and we were never going to get back in the game, were we? We were never going to even draw the game, I don't think, at that stage. We didn't have that goal in us, I think. And then the one thing I was really disappointed about was they scored with, 22, 23 minutes left. And I think we were worse in that 23 minutes than we were in the whole 90 together. And I really wanted to see, you know, we went 1-0 down at home. We're in the position we're in. Wanted to see a little bit of, I suppose, a fight and some passion from them players to try and get us back in the game. But you just didn't see any of that. So, yeah, I turned off the TV on Wednesday night. Actually, I turned off a little bit earlier because I went to get the little one from school. I just told my wife, listen, I'll go and get Joel from school because I can't watch the last 5 minutes of this.
We wanted to do the same, Mark.
You know, I was a 15 in our ranking scale after Wednesday. And then you guys will talk about Saturdays, obviously, as well. But what a change. What a difference. Like, from the first whistle, it was... Yeah.
Unreal.
You know, disaster to unbelievable, and it was, you know, that's not a crazy thing to say. I thought it was the best performance of the season. I thought, you know, all the time with a local derby, or however you want to call it, a Midlands derby, you're going to get the fans up for it. So I thought straight away, just hearing the atmosphere on the TV, you could see everyone was up for it. But we started on the front foot. You know, Rowett made a couple of changes. I thought Bellick was excellent at centre-back. I think he took away the pressure of Ayew and the mistakes we were making defensively. Tyler Roberts, got to give a shout-out to him. I thought he was outstanding. He gave us what we've missed behind Stansfield. We needed something there as that 2 up top. He did everything, and the ball he played for Stansfield's goal was a touch of class. So, you know, hopefully that the confidence of that, not just for him, but for the whole team, can push us on. Like, it's really difficult because I want to jump for joy, but I also got to be level-footed here that we've got 3 massive games to go, and I don't think we can keep the same performance up for 3 games. But I think if we can, get results and do what we need to do, then obviously we're in a better position today than we were on Thursday last week. And then going back to the Wagner one, I'd like to say, I was very impressed of seeing what Wagner was doing around the pitch on Saturday, just getting the fans up, and all that sort of stuff. And listen, I'm around American people every single day. They're very enthusiastic. They're very they're people that fall in love with something quickly, and they're invested in it. And I think the nice thing about it, my wife fell in love with me in 3 days, I think. But,
yeah, but she was drunk.
We won't talk about that one. But no, they're very invested. And the nice thing about it is this is his first ever experience of football. So Birmingham will always be that one for him, the one in his heart, the one that he will push and do. You get these owners that have owned other clubs in the past, and they've always got those memories and relationships with other clubs. We're having this guy come in, and it's brand new to him, and you can see already from his passion that he loves the club. His blue suit, his badge is always there. He's screaming, he's shouting, and obviously when they were singing "Tom Wagner is a Blue," he's up and he's cheering, and it was funny because you could see Gardner laughing, and I thought, that's your song that we've now passed on to.
Passed on to him,
So, but no, I was delighted about Saturday. It's a change of heart, but I'm also very, like I say, level-footed on the fact that 3 massive, massive games to come.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Good evening, Alan Watson.
Good evening, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. I've had a bit of computer problems as my lack of input over the last few days, I'm afraid. I haven't been able to do any of my blogs or whatever. So I think I've fixed it now. Thank you for persevering and letting me in.
No worries.
No problem.
And,
well, Mark Adams said not to let you in, Mr. Watson. It was terrible. It was being really
I did not.
Oh, it was so rude.
I didn't, Al. I didn't.
He was so rude.
But for me,
I swear I didn't, Al.
Sorry, the
Mark, who? I don't know that. Who's he? Who are you?
Go on, Paul.
The 3 players that came into the team, or 4 players that came into the team on Saturday, made such a difference. And I want to shout out Keshi Anderson as well, because we haven't seen much of him. And I thought he was absolutely outstanding. He gave us that pace, that strength, and that drive, didn't he, on that left flank? And obviously the first goal. I know it was an own goal, but he played a huge part in that. And it was another lovely ball again from Roberts, wasn't it, Ro?
Yeah, I was going to say Anderson was superb. I mean, we did actually play a lot differently without Bacuna, I thought. We seemed to sort of flow a bit more. It's not having a dig at Bacuna, but it was noticeable. But like I say, going back to the start of the game, I mean, wow. I mean, if you could have 11 man of match awards, you'd give them all out, wouldn't you? Because I don't think anyone had a bad game. They just gave everything for the cause.
Wagner was man of the match. There's you know what I mean? He was man of the match.
Yeah. Well, he did his job, didn't he?
Yeah. But I mean, what summed it up for me was Sunich within tears when he scored. I mean, that just captured everything for me. That was just superb. Not one nice thing, probably. You know what I mean? He just in that 1 second.
Well, that's what we want. We want a bit of emotion. We want a bit.
Yeah,
of
want a bit of emotion. Yeah.
Sure.
I knew lads in the away end, and they said it was the best atmosphere away from home that they've ever seen this season. That includes Leeds, Sunderland. They said it was absolutely superb.
And I don't do reggae, as we all know, but this UB40 song now in our court on, the atmosphere when that comes on now is just amazing, and even I'm singing now, unbelievable.
It's going to be. That's the thing. That's the thing, Paul. It's going to be played for years now, isn't it? It's going to be up there with ELO and all the rest.
It'll be another club anthem, along with Keep Right On and Mr. Blue Sky and all the other ones that we've got. I
think when they join in with the old anthem as well at the end, I think that is quite.
They've got to do that more often and tee it up though, because the past 2 games, I think they've missed the trick. Because like the Cardiff one, for example, they completely cocked it up. You couldn't hear it. But then the weekend, it wasn't teed up right. It was, if it had been right, the noise would have been even bigger than what we actually did have. But that ending, those last few words, That's the part that everybody latches onto.
Exactly.
And I love the fact if they do it properly, that then happens just before they kick a ball. So, you know, club's got to get it right. I know they listen. Mr. Golding, if you're listening, relay the message for us. Let's get it played. Let's get it played properly.
What struck me as well, you know, this was just at the end of the day a relegation scrap. And look at it, it was like we'd made the playoffs. And it's just, you take a step back and you think, wow, if we do something next season, you know, hopefully we'll survive. But wow, if we do achieve something next season similar to what Coventry did, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
I would love to see Tom Ross and Ian Danter's Singing the Blues come back as well. That was just that really got the crowd going before every game years ago, and we haven't heard it down there for a long, long time. And honestly, if they brought that back, the younger generation who probably never heard it would love it as well, don't you think?
Yeah. We'll do a revamp of it or something.
Well, I can pull it to Blues Matters. I've got a thing on Wednesday, so I'll pass it on.
Do. Yeah, please do, Claire. It's still on YouTube. It's still available to get. So, but yeah,
on CD in the loft if they want it.
Yeah, I've got the CD.
Yeah, they did a couple, didn't they? They did Singing the Blues, and did they do a version of Keep Right On as well or something?
They did, yeah, very fast.
Yeah, it's B-side, isn't it?
Yeah. So they were both great, pretty much. I remember vaguely, like before the Watford game in '99 in the playoffs.
Yes,
that really got. I mean, the atmosphere that night was incredible. Anyway, I know we went on to lose that on penalties, but the atmosphere before that, and when that came on, and it was just wow. The atmosphere was incredible, wasn't it? But
can I just add as well, the fact that our game had finished and then Bristol got that goal in the first minute was because I was reading Facebook posts after the game and everyone was saying, you know, it's just a little bit hard that Huddersfield have won and we're still in the bottom three, and then within seconds you notice they get a penalty, which probably shouldn't have been a penalty, but I'm not going to argue that. And then it's 1-1 and we're like, wow, this has just completely changed for us in seconds. So that was a nice feeling as well.
It's like a raw, wasn't it? It's like a dual raw, just like everyone was just celebrating as if we got promoted. It was crazy.
Alan, were you there Wednesday night, Cardiff?
No, I wasn't there Wednesday, but I was there Saturday.
Okay, maybe it's you then.
That could be. I'm trying to think. I think I've only seen them lose Southampton, and that was one of the best games we'd played up until that point, scoring 3 goals and so on. So I'll be honest. I bought my tickets for Saturday, the train tickets, before Cardiff, because I thought to myself, well, whatever happens tomorrow, I've got to go now. Win, lose or draw. And I'm so glad I did, because I've got to be honest. I got a Friday morning, and I'm thinking, well, it's going to cost me 10 quid to get a refund for these tickets. So, but I'm going. But I'd virtually given up in my mind. Some of your remarks, Paul. You're quite right. This is wrong, that's wrong, and that's wrong. And I thought to myself, he's right, and I can't see a way out. If this is not going to change, then we're doomed. Yeah. And, the definition of an idiot is keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And I sat there, I didn't know the team because I've been standing outside talking to somebody. I sat down in my seat about 10 to 3, and the players come out, and I'm still not standing up. And I look, and I see Awu walking along the touchline, and I'm thinking, well, he's not playing. And then I suddenly looked at the team, and I thought, wow. I didn't get excited. I've got to be honest. I think, he's in. What's he going to do? He's in. What's he going to do? No. But I couldn't be more wrong. It was those 4 players that you've already mentioned were key to the whole thing. Sonny scored a goal. Anderson virtually scored a goal, and they were at it, and the whole team got carried along with that. And when you're thinking of Roberts, and we've all moaned about him. What on earth is he doing on the books, let alone in the team? He was superb.
He was brilliant, wasn't he?
And the 2 assists he made for the goals, Where's this man been hiding all season? He never got a chance to score, so in a way, he never got a chance to mess up. Because his goal scoring record is obviously 0, and he's if you go back to the QPR game, goodness me, he was awful, but he did what he could do, and it was wonderful. As for the Bristol goal, I was halfway to the station. The whistle blew as I went out the door, and I was halfway to the station. I'm walking along thinking, what a pity. We've won and we're still not out the bottom. And then as the crowd is walking away, I heard 1 or 2 people cheering and whatever. So I whipped my phone out and I looked, and to see 90 plus 10, somebody's looking after us up there. They really are, because, as I say, we'd been finished 15 minutes by the time that penalty went in. Yeah. And it was, it completely lifted my spirits, and that, you give me another 3 years of life, probably.
It's good for the players. You need to look at that table now and see us out of there, and it's now a massive incentive for them to make sure we don't go in there again.
What's that difference on Saturday, though? Watto, you summed it up there, but the people around me walking out, it's like, just won 3-0, but we're still there. And then all of a sudden, when you hear what's happened, it's like another. It's another adrenaline rush on top of the adrenaline rush you've just had, and it did make the weekend, because I really do feel as though if they hadn't have got that equaliser, whilst we'd won 3-0 and still been on a high, you'd have still felt that little bit demoralised, because you're looking and thinking, oh Jesus, we're in that bottom. But now it's even more interesting now, because going to the weekend, if we get a result at Rotherham, which I desperately hope we do, and let's put it out there, we should. We should.
Get ahead of ourselves. Know what the Blues are. About the Blues here.
We are talking about the Blues, but we should get a result, and then that means then that there's more pressure than ever on Huddersfield to get one. Because then the following week, if we go into that game and, for example, they haven't got a result and we've got 3 points, right? They then have to beat us. They have to come at us. And I still believe that a team that attacks us puts us actually on the front foot. I think we're better when we're being attacked, and we are just going forwards on our own. And it'll be the difference. But what a demisery amount of away tickets from Huddersfield. I'm really disappointed with the allocation that they've given.
Well, they're never going to give us all of them, though, are they, Craig? I mean...
No, not this stage.
I can't literally wait. I think it's going to be a full. I think we're going to sell out, aren't we, away from home?
Easily.
But what I noticed so obviously Wednesday, it was horrendous. I was like Mark Meredith. I thought, that's it. I literally came home and it was that bad. I literally cried in the car. It was horrendous. And I was like, I cannot believe we're not showing any fight, any passion, any determination. I mean, it's just typical Blues, isn't it? Where you go really high one day, then the next day it's awful, and then Saturday you're up there again. But we had a bit of luck. Like the Anderson goal was a deflection. Little bits of luck all of a sudden came to us on Saturday. We just need to keep it going, because, I mean, Blackburn play Sheffield Wednesday on Sunday, and I think Huddersfield have got Swansea at home. So Swansea aren't really playing for anything, I don't think. And obviously Blackburn got a massive result against Leeds. I mean, if you had a £5 bet on Blues winning, Blackburn winning, and some of these others, I think you would have made a bit of money. But I've got to put my hands up. I know I slated Tyler Roberts on this show many a time, but it was his best game in a Birmingham City shirt by a mile. And I think Billick at the back, I mean, I said it earlier, I'm not going to lie, literally, I think since QPR he's been one of our best players. And coming from the back, I mean, he was doing like a Van Dijk running forward. I mean, he was the one who made the run, so the gap made it so Roberts could play the ball. I mean, he was just brilliant. And Sunjic, when he cried, I was like, finally, we see something You know, that's all we've ever wanted, is just to see that bit of oomph. You know, we were crying out for it last week. We were literally praying last week and literally, please, please, please. But really pleased with it. I think the tempo was good. And I mean, Anderson, he's got a bit about him, hasn't he? He's got a bit of oomph.
Yeah.
When he came on against Wednesday, I was like, where's he gone? Like,
yeah.
And I just think hopefully Rabbit knows who he can rely on in the last 3 games. Unfortunately, 2 of them are away, which is always a worry because we never do very well away from home. But I think we'll be okay. As I said, I've said 4 wins and we've done, 2 of them. So let's see if we can beat Rotherham and Huddersfield, but they'll have something to play for. Rotherham have got pride to play for, so they're not roll over and keel over, are they?
No, not at all. I think a big thing for me is we've got a week's rest between games now, and I would certainly keep the same 11 on Saturday at Rotherham and, challenge them to go and do the same to Rotherham as what they did to Coventry, and then same again at Huddersfield the week after if they do. You know what I mean? There's no need to change a single player from that team on Saturday at Rotherham. It's coming Saturday, so... they've got a nice week to prepare for it, and there's no games in between. So let's go. Let's go again. And I'd just say to the players, as you were, give me exactly the same as what you did at St Andrews last Saturday. Do you agree with that, Mark Meredith, as a coach? Would you do the same?
Yeah, I think after Wednesday, going back to that, I think Rowett did say there was a few words, and they said it was led by the players more than the coaching staff, which is always great. I think a lot of players don't want to hear honesty sometimes, especially if it's them who's had the bad performance. But it's better coming from your teammates than it is from anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think that really, I talked about it last week. We needed someone to press the reset button, and I think they did. And so going into training this week, I think you just got to, have that confidence and everything just buzzing around the place, just focusing on what happened Saturday, focusing on the positives. And then, I think the team talk Saturday morning then at Rotherham is you got to go out and do the same thing. You don't worry about the Cardiff game. You don't worry about the Coventry game anymore. You just go out there and you go and do what you need to do. And you, like you said, you take one game at a time. You go, Rotherham's a tough place to go to because they're, like you said, they're down and they just got some pride to play for. Now, you would hope that in the position that we are still in, going to a team like that is already relegated, we should be stronger and we should take the game to them a little bit because we need to win the game. They don't really need to win it. But they are the types of games that you can choke on. And the last thing we need is to lose there and then the Coventry result gets forgotten about. So, as a coach, I think Robinson and Rowett, they got to go in there and allow the players to, I suppose, lead it themselves as well. And every one of them on Saturday knew their job. They came out and they rose to the occasion massively. We've got to now ensure that they rise to the next 3, and hopefully, fingers crossed, by the Norwich game, it won't matter. I do still think it will go to the last game. I still don't think anybody's out of it, but. Like Craig said, if we can get a result Saturday and Huddersfield don't, then we could be actually safe the following week if we, draw or beat them. So it's all ifs and it's all, maybes, but it would be a great position to go into the last game not having to worry about it, wouldn't it?
Oh, 100%. It almost feels like we're in knockout football, doesn't it, in a way? A bit like the playoffs, you know what I mean? Not in a positive way, by the way, don't get me wrong, but it's almost like we're in a mini tournament down there at the moment, and we've got to make sure that we're not in that bottom, one of them other 2 teams that goes down. Do we think
the message boards, by the way, has been a light. We've had so many comments so far. Sorry we haven't had a chance to read them out. So Nigel Mann has said Huddersfield is the game of the season. It's make or down basically at the moment the way it's going. There was a comment of, did we see Led's interview after the Cardiff game and how did we feel? I think we've covered the fact that the players obviously have had words in the dressing room. That came across from him. You could see the disappointment in him. And I've got to say, Saturday, that was the lead we've been crying out for. That
different player, wasn't he?
I'm going to celebrate, but the thing that I noticed was He did none of that until we were safe. Then you saw that joviality coming out of him. But prior to that, some of the tackles he put in and his work rate was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Warren Wasser has said apparently Ruddy really laid into the team after Wednesday's game. I've got to say, if there was one person I'd expect it from, it would be him. You know, he's he is that person with the experience. He's that person that doesn't potentially want to end his career, may I add, with a relegation on his CV. So there's that. Lots of shout outs for Sanderson.
Yeah.
And saying what a difference he has shown over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the partner. Obviously, he changed Iwu for Bielik and put Bielik next to him. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of either Sanderson or Iwu, I'll be honest, or I haven't been. But if Sanderson's going to play like he did on Saturday more often and be more consistent with it, then he'll do it for me.
Just don't slump to the floor if you let a goal away, though. That's what I'm going to say.
I'll never do what he did.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're captain, don't do that. Like, I think Robbo or someone said you can't do that. You've been caught now. Like, you've got to man up, and fair play to him. Saturday, he was solid.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. Just on that. Sorry, guys. Just on that, and Claire just hit it there with Robinson. I think we talk a lot about coaches getting the best out of certain players. And Sanderson had a good start to the season, to be fair to him. Went downhill under Rooney. And then someone like Robinson is I think the pickup for that type of player. He's been the captain of the club. He plays in the same position as him. So who else would you sit down with and say, you know, the pros and cons of what? Because Sanderson's got a lot on his shoulders right now. He's the captain of a team that's probably still struggling in the lower halves of the division. So I think Robinson just having a quiet word with him and showing him some experience has certainly helped out. And I just hope, him and Bielik can finish the season off together and hopefully it's a good one for us.
Yeah. Alan, you were going to say?
I think that's what I started. The criticisms that we've had of the central pairing, I think to myself, well, we ain't got anybody else. And I didn't want Bielik to drop back in because he's such an important part of midfield. But what he did on Saturday, he supported Sanderson, who looked a much better player with him alongside, because he hasn't, suddenly there's a bigger bloke than he is, that he hasn't got to win every bloody ball that goes into the box. You know, there's somebody there who'll do it with him. The other thing is, Bielik, he was like Beckenbauer. He kept bursting out of that back line with the ball. And, you know, when he goes forward, he gives the ball to one of our blokes. And he was sort of doing a half back four and a half middle three. In the game, he filled in four in midfield, and when he also filled in four at the back. And his passing is terrific. I mean, it's been spot on, whatever position he plays in. And we responded, you know, if you give the ball to people with a bit of room, and then they're going to get kicked up in the air every time they receive it, and they've got a chance to turn and have a go at people. It's so much different. It was almost like fantasy football. You know, we've all been sitting there for 12 months thinking, oh my God, what's going on? And then suddenly, what should be happening happens, and they play well. They play together. There's no bawling and shouting at each other. They're all pulling the same way. And I refused. The guy sits in front of me. He said, "Why aren't you smiling?" I said, "Well, I haven't been smiling all day. Why should I start now and spoil things?" Because I thought, you know, don't get excited. You know, because we were still in the bottom three then. Well, you know, and when I left the ground, I was still. But that lifted my spirits. That goal, not only because it did what it did, because of the circumstances. You know, that could have happened to us. You know, somebody, we're at the bottom three. and then somebody sticks a 10-minute penalty against us and drops us back in. That you can see that happening to us, but it happened to somebody else this time, and it was wonderful. Great feeling.
Let's get your thoughts briefly, Alan, as well. Have you watched the open house from last Tuesday? Have you seen that?
I did, yeah.
Give us your brief thoughts on that. Then, what did you think of what you was hearing there? As
well, I mean, while I was trying to get through, I was listening to what he was saying, and I get it. I listen to particular. I'm not a great fan of Cook, to be honest, but Mr. What's his name? Wagner. Yeah. He could sell me a fridge in the North Pole. He's such a good salesman, and he's such a good businessman. You know, you think when he says, "Oh, we're going to spend 10 billion," people are going, "Well, what we're going to do is a 60,000-seater stadium. You know, we're going to get 20,000 in the one we've got." And I said to somebody at the weekend, imagine first game of the season of season 28-29. First game back in the Premier. We're at home to the Villa, right, in a brand new opening of the stadium. 62,000 we can get in there, and there will, I guarantee, when that day happens, there'll still be people saying, "I can't get a ticket. I've been coming here for 40 years and I can't get a ticket." That's what's going to happen, because it ain't just the team, it ain't just the ground. It's a combined. It's a circumstance. You know, why do we get? Do you all remember the game against Norwich 30 years ago when we got to win that to stay up? There was 53,000 there. You know, and the one when all these gimmicks, all there was a terrace to stand on and a team to cheer on, and play people locked out, and a relegation battle. Imagine what it'd be like if we go into the Premier League and play a big team in our big stadium. They won't have any problems filling that, because people will want to come to the stadium to start with. First thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what Tom Wagner said as well. He said, you know, if it's like this now, imagine what it's going to be like when we're good. He didn't say if we're good, he said when we're good. But can I ask you, Alan, why are you not keen on Gary Cook? What's the reason for that? Because I think he's doing a brilliant job.
Sorry about
that. I just wish he'd stand up and say, "I'm sorry, it was my mistake that we brought Rooney into the club. I had an idea, it didn't work, and I apologise. Let's move on." That would make me happy.
Well, Tom Wagner did that at the open house, didn't he?
I know he did, and that's, I noticed that. Why didn't he let Cook say it?
I don't think it was just Cook's decision, was it? I think it was a joint decision between them all. But there's no point in even going on about it anymore now. Let's just look forward.
I understand, but he's
the one thing Tom Wagner also said was, you know, it won't be the first mistake we make, you know, and it won't be the first decision that we regret either. You know, it won't be the only decision we make that we regret.
I accept that.
You know, so it doesn't define Gary Cook, that one decision, that's for sure.
No, you know. I'm not saying that. I also got, you know, I went to bed on Tuesday night, you know, having taken all this in and telling people about it the following morning. And then we sit down and 90 minutes of absolute dross. And all that wonderful enthusiasm gets sucked out of me, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the two, I understand what Wagner's saying. The two are not connected. We're going to do this, whatever happens.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have the biggest stadium in the third division. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, to be honest, coming on to that point, I think even if the worst comes to the worst, we did go down. I don't think we will now, but if we did, we're not going to be in the third division in 5 years' time.
No.
People think, you know, we won't. The Americans aren't here to hang around in League One or, you know, mess about. It'd be a year maximum.
Things happen for a reason, don't they, Mark? And I think if the worst did happen, then it may need to happen just to give us that winning. Because I think if we do go down, I'll be honest and say, I'm not going to say we'll romp the league, because I know the League One's a hard league, but I'd like to think we'll win more than we lose in that league. Is that probably realistic to say, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, even if we lose a few, even if we lose a few players, I still think we'd be top six.
Yeah, so that winning mentality then is maybe something we need to do for a season to get to change the mindset, because it's been like this now for years.
Ipswich did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're doing it now, aren't we?
Look at Coventry. Coventry went to League Two and came back. You know,
But I don't want to go down.
Wolves did it. Southampton.
Yeah, there's loads.
I want to change the thought process to winning in this league, not in League One. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that if it happens, maybe it's happening for a reason, and that's the reason that it might be happening. But also as well, I want to wish Amy Merrick's a welcome to Birmingham City Football Club as our new women's coach, Craig.
Yeah, I suppose, first things first, I know we put a message out there, but thank you to Darren Carter for what he did. And ultimately where he has taken us to. I think it was fair after the last set of games prior to this weekend's loss that we were not in a position to go up this season, and therefore decision was made to part with Darren. So thank you for everything you've done. And yes, the announcement today of Amy Merrick's coming in, who has a lot to prove. Has worked with the England under 18s and 19s, has worked at Brighton as well, which is where the link to the club comes at the moment. Obviously, Hope Powell coming from Brighton, and she has, an eye really, I think, for talent management, and that's where those links will come in. She'll come in straight into what is our last game of the season on Sunday against Sheffield United at home, before we go to our last away game. So it'll be interesting to see what she does, how things change. I think it's fair to say don't expect things to change overnight, as we never see it with any management anyhow, and give her time. And I think she'll build a side that will really help to take us forwards. And I know Mr. Meredith, I think we exchanged a few messages earlier on, but you've got that little bit of a background, haven't you, in regards to Amy and the current people at the club and what they've done previously? Yeah,
well, obviously Emily Simpkins, who's our assistant manager, obviously under Darren, she played for Brighton after she obviously played with Blues as well. I've known her back since the Leicester days when I was doing coaching at the women's game there. So the fact that, we all know Hope Powell's got a massive amount of experience, probably one of the best experienced managers in the women's game in England. So I think, Hope's probably got together, and I presume she's got a lot of trust in Amy, and she's worked with her in the past. Obviously, Emily's going to have a say about it as well. She's ended up staying. I know she took the game on Sunday previously when Carter had left. So I really do believe that the three of them together are going to have a really good mindset. And the nice thing about it is they all know each other. They all know how they work already. So hopefully they can just fit that in perfectly in starting their new role here.
And I think the key thing for myself is we've seen, and we've lost Paul. We've seen a lot of, should we say, not very straightforward play for the ladies. We've seen a lot of opportunities go awry. And some of that just may be down to the fact that the players were uncertain. What was our vision? Where were we going? I think we'll see that differently now under Amy, because I think she will work extremely closely with Hope Powell. She's got those links into not just the game overall, but, we had we should say for the open house, it wasn't just Wagner, but the whole of the group were there. So we had the backing of all of the people, and they're there as well to support us through the ladies' game. They've got massive aspirations. Matt Alvarez has been huge in America for the ladies' game. He wants to build that here as well. So I think what we will start to see now is more of an influence coming from Hope and the team above to drive us forwards. And then next season, we've got to do it next season. This league is ridiculous anyhow. One team being promoted is just daft. It should never be the case. Open up the Women's Super League to more teams and give everybody a chance, because we don't have that at the moment. It's really hard. One team being promoted is just unfair. So let's see what next season brings. But let's start as we mean to go on, and Sunday, look, let's get as many people down as possible to support the ladies through their last game. We still want to finish as high up in the league as possible. So everybody's backing will help. It's 2:00 on Sunday. Season ticket holders, it's free. If you can't go yourself, but you've got family, friends, or members, or that want to go, then the tickets are there to be used. Just book them, and people can use them digitally. But please help and support us, and let's get behind Amy in her first game in charge on Sunday.
Just on that quickly, when they talked about the new stadium, obviously at the open house, did they mention anything for the women on that? Will they play at that stadium, or they'll have their own, or what will go on with them?
It was one thing that actually wasn't mentioned in regards to the playing structure. What they did cover off was obviously the training facility that will be built in the same sports quarter will be for every team. So that's the key thing about keeping everybody together. But I would imagine they will do, unless, of course, they go down the same route as what Man City did, which was they've got a training quarter, but they also have, in theory, a mini stadium which is used for their ladies' game. So, we might see that, but it wasn't directly covered off. But I'm sure we will hear more things to come.
Yeah, sorry guys, I got cut off, so I'm back on there.
I just want to say something about this is 2020 hindsight, really. But at the time it happened, when they brought Hope Powell in, I couldn't help feeling, what is she there for? Darren is the manager, the coach of the team. He's the number one, and yet he's got this, ex-England manager. Certainly in the women's game, she's pretty high up, and sort of what's she going to do? Is she just going to be a nuisance, or is she going to help, or whatever? And it's this sort of football directorship that, and it's happening in the winning. She was like the director of women's football, and he was the manager. But who's in charge? Is it the manager or is it the technical director? And it was doomed to failure, to be honest. And perhaps this situation that we've just gone through. I mean, I saw our ladies play at Lewis at the start of the season, and they were abysmal. They play in the bottom of the league. They hardly ever win a game, Lewis, and we drew 0-0. And it was we did well to get a point in the end. And I'm thinking, what compared? We went to Lewis towards the end of the season before, and we beat them 4-0. It should have been 14. Now, what's gone wrong in the close season? And that's when Hope came in to fix this. But it did for a while. But I can see these two butting heads, to be honest. And I think I would guess that's what the parting of the ways came, because they probably didn't get on in terms of running that team, which is sad. It's sad, but it's inevitable, isn't it? You can't. If we brought Gareth Southgate in as football director over Gary Rowett or Mowbray, wouldn't work, would it? You'd think, well, what's he doing here? He's not come to be a spectator. He's going to get involved, and he's going to tell people below him that they're going wrong. And it's I think it was a mistake, put it that way. And I don't think it was the cause of Darren getting the sack, but I think they just agreed to disagree in the end and part ways.
It's a similar kind of thing to Gary Rowett and Craig Gardner, isn't it, on the men's side? Because Hope Powell's job in the women's side is the same as Craig Gardner's in the men's side, isn't it? Same job, but different side of the club.
Yeah, and I think she was brought in for stability as well, because we were not, as a women's team, we were not stable. We were not in a good place. Despite the fact, we just missed out last season in regards to getting promoted. We needed that extra level of input to enable us to go forwards. And there is a definite difference in the way things are and the way they're structured at the moment. And since Hope's come in, I think one thing we have seen is the calibre of player that has come into the club has been, superb. We've got a squad that is more than capable of not just winning the league, but walking the league. It then is a case of getting the right person to bring the ladies together to play, actually, similar to what we saw on Saturday. We've got a group of people that we've been saying have been, my description of them after Wednesday was a group of prima donnas that didn't have anything to do. But actually, we've got a group of players that just needed bringing together. And Hope has helped do that. But she is phenomenal at bringing people through the ranks. That comes from the expertise of being, a player coming through to management, to England, then out to America and helping it thrive out there. This season, we are now seeing the youngsters coming through the ladies' team as well. We had another debutant at the weekend. We've had 2 youngsters that have broken through prior to that. And those players are getting their chances, I think, because of Hope's ability to spot a player and to be able to actually help guide those youngsters through. I was told at the beginning of the season that they would clash. And there probably has been clashes. But sometimes that helps the team. On this occasion, it hasn't worked out. But honestly, you could say after 4 games at the start of this season that I was very surprised that Darren was still in a job at that point in time. But he did turn it around and he did give us that run leading up to Christmas, which was fantastic. We just haven't seen it again after those international breaks and after the festive break that you get in the ladies' game.
Injuries didn't help that, did they?
Injuries didn't help, no. The injuries didn't help, and nor did the games, and it's so sporadic. It's ridiculous. I mean, I think the international breaks, it's just absolutely unreal. You understand the men's side of it, you understand it in terms of we know there's going to be a break in September, we know there's going to be a break in October, we know there's going to be some in the new year. With the ladies' game, it was almost every other week. It was absolutely unreal. But then let's sort of look at the other positives, right? We had 3 Birmingham City players turning out against the Lionesses last week. They're up against the best. They were able to show what they could do against the best, and hopefully moving forwards we'll do that again. But yeah, Amy, best of luck. Darren, thanks for watching.
Just to follow on to that though, Craig. I agree with what you and Alan are saying, and the thing is, Hope is, as I just said, probably one of the most experienced women's coaches in the game, playing and coaching and our dealings with the FA in England and stuff like that. So what she will be to Amy and Emily as young coaches coming through the women's game, they both played and now they're coaching. She's going to be a massive mentor to them as well. I don't think she was ever going to be a mentor to Carts because he played professionally in the men's game, and it is a big difference. And so I think it was probably a difficult one to try to mentor and tell Darren how to do things. But I think she's going to be able to do that with Amy and Emily. And I also think that, as you said, recruitment-wise, who wouldn't in the women's game want to go and play for Hope? Because of her experience, because of her knowledge. So I think she can be fantastic in getting players in, and then they can work as a team, and the 3 of them then can work together and learn from each other. And I think I think they'd be a lot more successful with the 3 of them in there than we were this year with Darren.
Yeah, Claire, you wanted to talk about the James Staunton Foundation.
Oh yeah, hold on, let me get the information. My other half is a trustee for the James Staunton Foundation. I know that the family are quite big Blues fans, and his son is as well. It's all about talking about men's mental health. So unfortunately, James committed suicide 5 years ago. The foundation is all about making sure that there's a platform for men to talk about their mental health as suicide affects them the most, which is like 75%. They're a charity that have an application process for small mental health events and charities to apply for funding of up to £2,000. It can be therapy sessions, it can be therapy lessons to providing football pitches for small charity helping men's mental health. So I think hopefully we can put a link on for the Tilton Talk show to raise any funds or money. I know that the other day we had
Claire, do you know the web address?
a Mr. and Mrs. Knight as well. And we've done like loads of events. They do five-a-side football matches in the summer and everything. So if we can put on a link, Chris, that'd be great.
Yeah, do you know the link offhand?
No, but I'll send it over.
Yeah, no problem.
But like, if anybody's ever, I know that there's been I've known quite a few people lose people recently due to mental health reasons. So obviously, if anybody ever wants to talk, you know, you got all of us lot on here. Birmingham City do loads of things as well, and it's just better to talk. I know that obviously I'm the only woman on here, but yeah, I just think because it's high in men, you know, like just speak about it and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the mind is probably the most powerful muscle in our body, and it's invisible. That's the thing. And if you break your leg or something, you'll get loads of sympathy because you're in a massive bandage. But if you've got mental health problems, people just don't see that, do they? You know, they don't understand. Anyone who hasn't gone through it just doesn't understand it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just any fundraising or anything, obviously, we'll put the link on and just like promote it really, even if it's just about talking to people. And, you know, especially like with the Blues, it's so up and down. Do you know what I mean? It can affect everybody, and you know, everyone's got their own lives as well, but as a Blues family we always come together. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Spot on.
So
Can I actually? Sorry, Paul. I said I'll give a shout out to one of our listeners, Mark, who gave me a lift home on after the game on Saturday back to Coventry. He lives in Northampton, and him and his Sam, Mark's top man, gave me a lift home. So appreciate it, Mark, and it's nice to see you again and see Sam as well. And Sam's a promising young goalie who plays for Northampton Town. So.
Did you say
that was a trophy look for you, wasn't it? Out of 27,000 people, 27,000 people, and you found one that was driving to Northampton that was willing to give you a lift.
No, what it was.
Paid him.
He was standing at the side of the road with his thumb up.
Did he have an Uber sticker on the side of his door as well?
Do you know what happened?
Let me explain. After the game on Wednesday, I went back to New Street because I thought I should get the bus back to Cardiff or the train or whatever. Anyway, I started chatting to him at New Street.
Okay.
And sort of said he listens to the show. He loves the show. And he was going back to Northampton on the Northampton train. And he said, "Oh, if you want, I'll give you a lift after the game Saturday." So there you go. Yeah.
Fair play.
There you go.
Fair play to him.
Fair play.
You pulled.
So let's do predictions for Saturday, shall we? While I'm thinking about it. I'll start with you, Chris.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right, then. Okay. Crook. I'll be happy. I think it's going to be a draw. We might get a draw. I just can't see a win, but I'll be happy with a draw.
You can't see us beating Rotherham away.
It's going to. I think they're going to. I don't know.
Well, I lost there once before, and they sacked the manager the week late.
I think if I'm going to, if I be negative, then you know,
Yeah. I know what you
yeah.
mean. Real psychology and all that.
Because I said we got no chance against Coventry, didn't I? So.
Yeah, I did as well. To be fair, yeah. Mark Meredith, what do you think?
1-0 us.
That'll do. Claire.
2-0. Please just win away from home. Please. That's all I'm asking.
Nice.
Please just win away from home.
We've travelled like Mr. T this season, haven't we?
Honestly, literally the amount of money that we spent and everything, just it'll be lovely to see more than 4 wins away from home, please.
Yeah. Anyone who's too young to get my joke there, Mr. T would never go on a plane, would he? Or
never gone on a plane.
He didn't travel very well. So that's how we've travelled this season. But anyway, Mark Adams.
I think we're going to scrape a 2-1. 2-1 Blues.
Okay, that'll do. Craig.
Do you know, if we play like we did on Saturday, we're going to beat them. Yeah. And we'll beat them heavily.
Crikey, we play like we did on Saturday, we're going to win the Champions League.
Are you saying Chris is going to be naked?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you'll get to that level. But I'll put it out, right, 3 or 4-0. I think we'll beat them 3 or 4-0.
I've just heard as well that a lot of Rotherham fans are boycotting the game as well.
Boycotting the game, they are indeed, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
The Blues fans need to get in the home end.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah.
Make it a home game. Do you know what I mean? Everyone else does it.
It's a nice ground, Rotherham, anyway. It's a nice ground.
Not promoting it or anything. Just
that's it now. It's all down to you now. With
it's all down to you, Claire,
the riots.
I know nothing. It wasn't me.
She told us to do it.
Yeah. Alan, what do you think?
Well, I'm interested. I think we'll win. I think we'll win 2-0. But I get very, very annoyed when we get allocated, whatever it is, 2,000 tickets at Rotherham, and there's nobody sitting the other end. I can sit there. You know, I can't get a ticket for love nor money. But if they're not going to sell their own, open up a bit more for us. You know, at the end of the day, they're relegated, and if they sold the whole bloody ground to us, that they would make loads of money. You know, but we can only give you 2,000, and the same with Huddersfield. That end at Huddersfield, I was about 5,000. Yeah, we're only going to get half of it, and
they have half of it, though, don't they? They have their ultras.
There is a reason. There is a reason for that. Yeah. Last time we played them, it kicked off big time. And they do sit in the same stand now. They halved it, and they put their
ultras
people right next to you now.
Yeah, it is fun.
That's why we can't have the full stand.
I'll just put out there, the club have just made an announcement, actually, in regard, we're talking Huddersfield there, we're talking tickets. There is an issue with the tickets at the moment and being made available. So the club have just put a statement out, different obviously to what we saw before, to say that the tickets aren't available. Doesn't mean that they're all sold out. They are working with the ticket providers to fix the situation as soon as possible. So if people are trying and are getting error messages, it is because there's a problem. Then we'll update as we go along. So people just keep an eye on the socials.
Yeah, I think we'll win 3-1 at Rotherham. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Okay. So anything more on the shout box, Chris? Do you want to go through a few comments? I'm conscious we haven't. Apologies, it took us a while to get to these.
On YouTube, apparently, it holds just under 4K. That end does at Huddersfield. Yeah. But I still think, as I say, like they do half and half it, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They ain't gonna want us. They ain't gonna want us there roaring them on, are they? To practically relegate them.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Last time we played them, Warnock came in.
That's right, yeah.
They battered us, and literally that end was so loud, and fair play to them. I mean, it was like the whole ground was full. So they're not going to give us, in a relegation battle, would we give them the whole of the Gil Merrick?
Yeah.
No, exactly. That's what I mean, yeah. Any questions, Chris?
Yeah, Rotherham fans
people don't know if you've got somebody else's teeth in, Paul.
Have I got somebody else's teeth in?
That's what they're saying, because it sounds like you like.
Are you eating something?
Got a list.
No. I've had to change to my phone because my iPad was playing up. That's about it. If I sound different on my phone to my iPad, do I?
You do actually,
yeah. All right to me, Paul.
Just going back to what Claire has told people to do at Rotherham. Rotherham fans are exactly, I think, ask Blues fans to do exactly that. There you go.
So it's not just me. Rotherham fans have asked.
Yeah, that's right.
When we get a points deduction, we're blaming it on Claire.
Yeah.
I can't be blamed for anything for once.
Yeah. So it's also just been put on the message board.
Rob told me to say it earlier.
Yeah, it's Rob's fault. You do need a booking history to get any tickets at Rotherham.
Yeah, you got no.
I hope you said booking.
Wasn't talking about you at the time, Rob. So yeah, it definitely was booking.
That's to bring the show down, doesn't it?
How far does that booking go back? Because I went to the old ground to see them play. I don't know, can't remember.
I did as well. Yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah, old ground.
Yeah.
Do we think the Duke will be fit before the end of the season? I don't think we'll see him play.
It's not looking likely, is it? I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him like come on with 10 minutes to go against Norwich and score, but hopefully it won't mean anything.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, it'll mean something, but it won't mean something if you know what I mean. It won't be like the goal that keeps us up because I want to go against Norwich and we're safe.
It sounds like you're speaking like that to me.
Do I?
Is it anybody else?
He said so he's got his turkey teeth in, and he.
It actually makes more sense.
Your teeth out.
I just don't understand it.
There's a few predictions that are coming through on the message board at the moment. So, Trond Fjord, welcome to the show.
Sorry,
Thanks for listening.
Who?
You say he's Norwegian, Trond, isn't he?
Norwegian Supporters Club.
Say that again.
Norwegian Supporters Club.
Is that any better or do I sound the same?
You still sound the same.
Sound the same, yes.
What the hell's going on?
I'm going to leave and come back. Then hang on.
What's this, Shaggy?
Oh, mother, you're all right.
No, it's funny. Please.
Poor hipless.
Say where you are, Paul.
Please.
2 seconds.
Can you please say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? Oh, he's done.
That was made a joke, though.
So, whilst Paul's joining back again, the other predictions that have come through. So, Brenda Browne has said we're going to win 2-0. And we've had a couple of others 2-0. Ray Cornish, Craig, have you been messing with your electricity or is it static in your iPad? If you want about my hair, yes, it's way too long. And it does need a cut.
It does, yes, yeah.
However, I've got hair, Paul hasn't, Mark's losing his. Watto, then I've been nasty.
Come on, man.
Twice your age.
Mark just covers his head all the time, so what can we say?
Is that better now?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I liked it before.
We can just about hear Paul.
Yeah, oh, that's a shame.
Honestly, when you hear it back, you're going to be giggling because I've been finding it.
It's like somebody's put a voice.
I've been me and my Remedy for just been giggling to each other the whole time.
Somebody just said you sound the same.
Kevin Browne has just said, "Where's the puffy cut gone?"
Can we just say as well while we're doing all these predictions and stuff? Did you see on Facebook Nicky Eden talking about his bar in Barnsley if the Blues fans stop off there?
Free shots.
Free shots.
Yeah.
It does mean drinks, doesn't it? With it being in Barnsley.
God,
Send Robin to make sure.
It's a nice place, Barnsley.
Could be some friends there.
No. Desperation doesn't follow, Mark. I'm sorry.
No. Desu.
Oh dear. So that's the prediction.
Tron's asking me to say his surname once more. I possibly can't.
Lilypad asked me. I'm saying that Lilypad asked me a question somewhere. I don't know what it was though. She's saying that she asked me a question, but we've got to scroll back through for it. I don't know what the question was, but Lilypad, if you want to put it on again, I'll try and answer it for you.
He was saying about, I think it was about the Sun. If it's the one I'm reading, it's the Sunnage. Sunnage had mentioned about having 4 or 5 managers this year, and the difficult with it. So I think if she was asking about our thoughts on performances and how many managers we've had.
Yeah, so obviously it's been 6, including interim, isn't it? They're going to have their own table at the end of season awards, aren't they?
I'm just reading some of the things on YouTube.
I think she asked about, do you know how many fouls we've had in yellow and red cards? Because you're so knowledgeable about facts.
Well, on the top of my head, this season.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, she asked who your dentist was.
Yeah.
No, that was Nigel Mann as well.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I've solved the problem because I couldn't carry on like that, could I? Jeez.
How many reds you had this season?
Not many. Not many.
The last one I can think of is Bielik at Plymouth, maybe.
Yeah, about 3.
And Sanderson
at home to
James at Watford.
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
Oh, yeah.
Watford, yeah.
What about 3, haven't we?
When did we last get a penalty? When did we last get a penalty? When did we last get a penalty?
Against the Albion.
Crikey,
The last one we
going
had?
back a bit.
Can't think of another one.
No.
We must have had one since then, surely.
Crazy, isn't it?
No, don't call me Shirley.
Oh, we had one against
don't get
Leeds.
into the box
We had
that
2
often, do we?
early on, and then we have had nothing since. Because we haven't been in the penalty area since October.
It's been a long time.
Let's throw a quick question out there. So far this season, if the awards was tomorrow, who would be your player of the season? To everyone here and all our viewers.
Buchanan.
Bielik.
Oh,
Bielik's up there now, I think. You know, up until a few weeks ago, I'd have said no chance, but he's been, since he was put in that centre-half position, I've got to say, he hasn't let us down.
Craig from Coventry. I can't get over it. I'm sorry. I like him and he's played amazing, but I will never forgive him for jogging back.
Yeah.
It's got to be Stansfield.
That'll be the whole season, isn't it?
Stansfield's getting a lot of votes on the chat.
Yeah.
Why Ruddy?
Ruddy, yeah. Lisa.
I think
Lisa
everybody's had a dip in form, haven't they? Especially under Rooney. The only person who shone under Rooney really was Jordan James. And we haven't seen that Jordan James since, have we, either? Which is a bit strange. But Stansfield, I think, will win it. He's getting the votes. I think I'd agree with you, though, Claire. I think Buchanan has been absolutely outstanding, hasn't he, every time he's put a shirt on?
Yeah, I think there's. I think Stansfield obviously has scored a lot of important goals. Without him, we would be nowhere. But then I think Buchanan's definitely the defender of the year.
Yeah, 100%.
And then who would be your midfielder of the year, though?
Midfielder of the year, I'd say Bakuna's got to be in with a shout for that.
Yeah, a bit lazy though sometimes, isn't he? He's up and down.
No,
I'm Nigel Mann. It's not going to be Burke, is it?
Will
be the awards because I'm just going to have to go up to him.
I think Mark from Northampton needs an award.
What Mr. Adams hasn't realised is Mark from Northampton was really just doing a recce to see whether it was true that Coventry was a complete shithole.
We've had shit.
You've got children watching.
Yeah, that's second week on the road. That word's been mentioned.
What was that? What was that?
Craig swearing on the Tilton Talk channel.
Oh, I know. It's horrendous. God. I was only just saying what everybody else thinks.
We've had more red cards on the show than the Blues have all season, I think.
Yeah.
I think the problem about picking a player of the season is that apart from Stansfield and Ruddy, everybody else has had gaps in there for injuries, suspensions, whereas Stansfield and Ruddy have played every game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Buchanan, yes, I'm a big Buchanan fan, but that big period that he missed, he didn't come back fit and firing. He's back to his best now, but there was a gap. Same with Laird, and I think Sanderson, he missed he had 3 games suspended. They didn't pick him the 4th game, and then he came back, and that gap, it took him time again. So there's people who have had a lot of good games, but there's also like say Bakuna's been missing for various reasons. He just ain't been picked, or he's been injured or whatever. And then he's had some very good games, but he's also had so many ordinary ones. If you went back to probably say November, Dembele we've been talking about, but he's done nothing. He got left out, and he's done nothing since. And it's a strange one, and that's been part of the problem why we haven't been doing so well, because people have had gaps of play.
Going back to Jay though, on everyone's opinions. What do you think we've got a chance of keeping him?
Did you just say going back to J-Lo?
No.
Everybody say J-Lo.
I wish we had.
Sign J-Lo up for sure.
That number.
I'd love to keep him, mate, but I think, to be honest, I can see Fulham wanting to keep hold of him. Can you?
Or maybe like a newly promoted team, like a Leicester or something.
I think we could get him on loan another year, because I think Fulham might want him again in another year's time.
Yeah, definitely I'm on loan, 100%. If you had him and someone else up front, I think we would be cooking.
What's people's thoughts on Mayoshi?
That Tyler Roberts from Saturday will do for me up there with him, but if he's going to bring that every week, then that's fine by me. But it's all about consistency now, isn't it? He's got to back that up on Saturday now with the same again.
Sorry,
and
Chris.
I'll say how well he played.
I was just saying, what about Mayoshi? What are people's thoughts on Mayoshi, player of the season?
I think
a few people have said it.
I think he'll be better next season when he's got used to the league a little bit.
This is the thing that's worrying me a little bit with staying up, is we've got so many players that are inexperienced of a relegation survival and also in their first season at this level. You know, so, but let's just hope we can do it. It's not over yet, is it? Even though we had a good day Saturday, it's you know,
we could be back in the.
You've got to get reality for this weekend now. Just take each game at a time. And play as though it's a cup final, you know what I mean? Every single one of them, and that's what the mentality will be. Certainly from Robbo, won't it, and Gary Rowett, I think. So that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Paul, tonight's show sponsored by Fixtures. It's the end of the show.
We've reached it already, have we? Yeah. So we've been the Tilton Talk Show. Thanks to everyone again for watching, and we are sponsored by Small Affordable Cars. And I've been Paul Hipkiss with a lisp for 5 minutes, and. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Claire Giblin.
Good night from me. See you all on Saturday, and a good night from Mark Meredith.
Good night from me, and it's a good night from Mike Tyson. I mean, R.O. I thought we had Mike Tyson on the show for
He's definitely not Mike Tyson.
Well, it's almost because I'm Mike Tyson. He is more like the guy that Mike Tyson's going to beat up in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I know. It's good night anyway. Good night from me. And if you listen carefully, I'll say good night to Alan Watton.
Okay. Well, who's left then? Good night from me, and good night from Craig.
Hey, yes, we're going to get this right this time around, and it's a good night from me. And thank you for everybody's input. It's been huge tonight. And last but not least, it's over to Chris Browne.
And it's a good night from me. See ya.
FEA.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
It's lovely.
What being on with Tigger?
I can't wait to hear it back.
Nobody wanted to say anything, though. That was the best. People giggling.
Me and Mark were just looking at each other, just giggling, because I knew.
Somebody put their sounds the same.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? I'm saying it's weeks my year.
Oh, that was so funny.
Nobody's seen Mark from Northampton.
No, since.
That's the second person this season.
You slopped out before you come on air, or are you doing it now, Mark?
Hey? Oh, slop. No, it's been sweet slopping out over here this weekend. I've got a talk while it's been someone else's house.
Stealing the Wi-Fi.
He broke in.
The thing is, I wouldn't put it past you putting that curtain thing up the way off today.
Mark in Northampton, I hope you're listening to this, because now you can arrest him.
Nah, don't be like that.
The open house.
What a laugh.
Claire,
Yeah.
First, my apologies for not getting to